the answer to this question. What have you been investing your time and energy? For example, you're a 25-year-old founder. I want to hear the answer to what have you been investing your time and energy to in the past 25 years? Because that's your value. If your business is the future of that value, I might highly invest in you because you have been investing in some things for the past 25 years. You can't go back and change that. So if you want to be highly successful, if you want to create something unique, first of all, as a founder, you need to understand your value, like what are you sitting on? Because you're sitting on 20 years of investment, 25 years. Your life's journey is your biggest investment. You have already invested time and energy to think, I don't know what, maybe you watched Netflix movies the whole day for 10 years. That's an investment. Maybe you ate different pizzas from all around the world. That's an investment. Maybe you cycled around the world. That's an investment. So understand that you are your biggest investment and you're already sitting on millions of dollars of value, which is your time and energy, which is the most important thing. So understand that you did spend time and energy on things you valued the most for the past 20 years. Understand what they are, your origin story, what you've been investing in, and then create a business around that value. Don't stupidly go out there and create a business you haven't invested, because there's going to be someone who has invested on that for 20 years, 25 years. They're experts on it. You're never ever going to, be able to compete with them. It's like impossible, Imagine someone who has played tennis all his life, tennis pro, tennis world. He's been around the world in tennis tournaments. He knows ins and outs. And then you just don't know anything, or you're just an amateur tennis player, you can't compete with them. So understand that your life is an investment, and you have been investing your time and energy. So look at what you have invested and look at what your value is, and then turn your value into a business and into a product. When we see that, we know it. And people are usually concerned about, it's like if you spent that much time on something and went deeper and deeper, there's no way you can't create, like I'm creating at Nevşah Institute, we're creating new products every couple of weeks because we are so deep into our thing. We see what's lacking, what's missing, what people need immediately, because we've been in the same business, we've been doing the same business for over 25 years. We're like, we deeply are in that, we have been investing into that. So anything I invest in that business, flourishes. So I think those are the three main things I can say. Of course, after that, when you nail these, you are confident, you have mastered yourself as a founder, you're a man of your word, you do what you say what you do, you have high willpower and you're highly resourceful. The second is, you're doing a business aligned with, who you are and your past investment. And the third, you are realistic. You're not optimistic. You're not pessimistic. You're realistic. You're open. You're trustful. And then the fourth will be the entrepreneurial characteristics, which is not being afraid to fail. If you are, we look at the founders and try to understand whether they will be able to go really fast, fall down fast, fail hard. If you're someone who is willing to fail hard, and if, like, sometimes investors ask, what's your biggest failure? Because we want to see if you failed hard enough. And if you failed hard enough and you were able to get up. If you haven't failed hard enough, because if you have, it's kind of like there are these words on the internet. If you haven't failed hard, that means you haven't tried hard. And that's so true. Investors are looking for people who try hard, real hard. And if you're someone who's trying real hard, you're going to fail real hard. And you're going to fall down. You're going to crush, The world will be crushing you. So my question is, how many times have you been crushed and what have you done? Like in my past, I have been I mean, in the media and also in, for example, social media. At one time, I had an organization, again, theatrical something, which was very
against you, or
no, it's not. It wasn't. It's kind of like it was kind of like a stage event where I was on stage, and because I wanted to enlighten people into because it was kind of like this was 15, 16 years ago, and because I wanted to help people understand that life isn't about positivity, but it's all about the negative side. I created this real dark theatrical show. And then people literally crushed me on it was Twitter now it's X. And for a couple of weeks, it was like, I think it was the most horrible period. Yeah, it's like I crashed. And that's great. And then I crashed many times in my life, because if you take risks, if you go fast, if you are not afraid to fail, you are going to fail more than the others and harder and tougher than the others, and your success depends on that. So that's the other thing. You know, we want to see people who are not afraid to fail, who are not afraid to risk things, who are not afraid to go further. That's the entrepreneurship. You know, people who are, I think saying entrepreneurs are people who, you know, are not afraid of the word no. Of course, I mean, you're going to hear no more than you hear yes. I mean, you're going to knock customers' doors 99%, you're going to hear no, 1%, you're going to hear yes. You're going to knock investors' doors 99% no, 1% yes. Your life, if you're an entrepreneur, your life will be about people saying no to you and less people saying yes. And you're not only going to fail, but you're going to face a lot of rejection, you know. And if you can just make fun of it, and if you're beyond your ego, and if you don't make it a problem, it's also in your daily affairs. It's like that entrepreneurship gets reflected into your relationships with your mom, with your husband, with your wife, with your daughters. It's like having this attitude of not giving up until you make that thing happen, and not taking it personally. And that's like, you ask no, ask once again, ask once again, ask once again, and then at one point you're like, done. So that's another thing we look for. And then after that, of course, the business, the financial, the market. But if you have those four, you're already, and of course, if you have a clear mission, if you have the fifth, I would say, clear problem, which you are truly obsessed with. That's why investors ask what wakes you up in the morning, or what keeps you up awake at night. What truly keeps you up awake at night is a problem you can't live with. It's like you're so done with that problem, you're so frustrated that that problem exists in the world, you're just ready to commit your whole life solving that problem. You're just so frustrated. It's that we want to see that frustration, because that's the thing that keeps on going, you know. And we live in a world where, you know, people say like, oh, stress is not good, let's not be stressed. I think the opposite, and investors think the opposite. Stress is great. An investor without stress is useless. Of course you're going to be stressed. Of course you're going to be frustrated. Entrepreneurs are the most frustrated people I have ever met. That's why they're disruptive. Frustration and disruption are things that go together. It's like, I want to know as an investor, how frustrated are you? I want to know if that problem you want to solve is keeping you up at night. I want to know if that problem is holding you from taking a break, if that problem is holding you from spending time with your family. I want to know whether you're thinking about that problem even when you have kids that are 2 or 3 years old, and you're still thinking about that problem when you're trying to play with them. You know, I want to know how many moments in your life are you not living in the moment but in your problem. So all these cliche and popular culture stuff like be in the moment, you know, relax, and, you know, be with life, drink your coffee and only drink your coffee. If you are that, you won't get invested. When I'm, as an entrepreneur, when I'm drinking my coffee, I'm thinking about business. When I'm in front of the mirror getting ready, I'm thinking about my business. When I'm creaming my body or my face, I'm thinking about my business. I'm obsessed with my business, and that's why I've been able to build it in the Turkish community the highly, successful self-mastery school, the one.
Now bringing it internationally.
Yeah, bringing it internationally. It's all over the world. I have students from all over the world. That's how we have helped entrepreneurs in nevcap, in the accelerator. That's how I have built all my businesses. I am obsessed with business, and that's what we're looking for in entrepreneurs, not I am in the moment, And then, of course, after that, the whole business plan,
The requirements.
everything, yeah.